Alright, so this is, I just doing a quick demo of the two systems. So this is the Boss VE-5 with the Phillips speaker, and then I've got my Kylo profile in here, and then over here is actually the Zoom Multi-Stomp, which I use for Vader typically, but now I've got a Kylo profile, and then this one uses the Aker voice booster. So I've set these as loud as I can without getting a ton of feedback. I'm going to actually step to the side also so the speaker isn't aimed at the mic. But I'll do the Boss VE-5 first, and then I got to switch over mics, and then I'll do the Aker just so you can kind of hopefully pick up the difference in particularly volume. And neither of these are set at max, but this is maybe at 50%, and this seems to be maybe 75%. But again, a small room, a lot of echo, and then also you get feedback in the mic if you go too loud with it.
Ray, wherever you are hard to find. I pushed you in the desert because I needed to see it. I needed you to see it.
And then this will be the multi-stomp now.
Ray, wherever you are hard to find. I pushed you in the desert because I needed to see it. I needed you to see it.
So, pretty big difference. And again, this isn't even near full. And actually, my setup will use two of these. So, particularly in large, event areas with a lot of people, a lot of bodies moving around, the Akers are just a lot louder, and that's why I decided to go with the multi-stomp. I'm still dialing in sound. This one I didn't dial in quite as much because I abandoned it because of volume. So it maybe wasn't as deep as this one, but that's more settings than anything else. My biggest thing is the difference in the volume. So the volume capabilities of a 12-watt Aker and being able to run two of them, it's a night and day difference in terms of volume. So hopefully the camera's picking that up. Obviously two solutions, but personally, I went this route because I've used this for actually a couple years now with my Vader anyway. I just never really thought about doing it on Kylo because it's harder to conceal this. Actually, let me turn the mic off so I don't feedback on myself. So just actually I'll turn this off. So the Zoom has a lot more with it because you got to kind of assemble it. It's not actually made to be a voice changer, but you get the multi-stomp, and then you've got all your connectors to go from 1/4 inch to 3/5, and there's actually, I have a number of these pads and brackets covering because in my Vader setup these buttons still have the tendency to get hit, particularly people who reach around your back to give you a hug when you're taking pictures. There would be a tendency to potentially push a button. So this is more, all these black things are just protecting the different buttons that used to be hit. Just because of the placement. It was on the back of the belt, which was just once somebody reached under the cave to, hug Vader, which people seem to like to do, that's usually where their hand went right to. It's a much taller profile than the VE-5, but the VE-5 obviously being a lot bigger console, the trade-off is pretty decent. But now with the TROS cape, this being on my back will not be nearly as visible. So I can run it on the TFA. It just was too noticeable anywhere I put it to really work. Although I guess I could mess with placement under the back of the hood because that wouldn't notice. But at any rate, so that's the quick kind of simple comparison. So I'll be playing with my settings a little more on the multi-stomp and trying to dial it in as much as possible.